Hello YouTube viewers. I'm making this video in response to another video that I watched on snowplows and all the comments that were on that video asking why do fire hydrants get buried in the snow, and a lot of people saying, well, this is just stupid. They don't understand why they get buried and don't understand how that cannot be avoided. So I thought what I'd do is just make a little video explaining where I live, how snow plowing works, and hopefully answer that question in a way that people can understand. So let's turn around here and take a look at a fire hydrant. So you got your standard fire hydrant, or some people call them water plugs, painted red, and it's got a marker on the top of it with a little picture of a fire hydrant. So this marker is not to tell the city plow drivers, hey, there's a fire hydrant here, don't plow in front of this. No, it's there because these are going to get buried in snow even if a snowplow doesn't come along, and it's important to be able to dig them out and have them dug out so that if there is a fire, the municipal fire department can have quick and ready access to the fire hydrant. Fire spreads rapidly, and even a few minutes can be the difference between destroying a house and being able to save it. So having those fire hydrants cleared out and ready to go if the unfortunate event arises, that they're needed, that is extremely important. So here's a fire hydrant, and what I want to explain to the viewers is the layout of the street. Not all cities are built like this, but Barnesville was established in 1882. A lot of these streets were built in the early 1900s, and I'm not sure exactly when this boulevard was put up, but it was after the advent of snow plowing, and I believe that because of this, they're designed with boulevards. Why do you have this strip of grass between the sidewalk and the street? Well, to answer that question, you just have to think about snow plowing. If it didn't have a boulevard on it, all that snow would go right on the person's yard, right here, right over those hedges, and it would be a horrible mess, because there's a lot of garbage in the streets, a lot of debris you don't want on your lawn, rocks, and road salt, which kills grass. So it's better to have all that junk on the boulevard than on your private property. The other thing I'd like to point out is take a look down there. If I can zoom in and get this thing to focus, you guys can see that there is another fire hydrant down that way about 2 blocks. So on a stretch of about 20 blocks, you're going to have roughly 10 fire hydrants, one every 2 blocks. And they're set up on the corners of an intersection like this one, because there's more houses closer to the fire hydrant than if they were to put them in the middle of the street. So let me explain a little bit about plowing and how that works. So your average municipality is going to have a couple trucks. They're probably 50,000 pound single axle trucks. What does that weight mean to those not from the US? Well, you take about 15 cars, and that's the weight of your average snowplow truck. So it's got a lot of mass to it. And new, they cost about $170,000, which is also the price of an S-Series Mercedes-Benz, one of the top-of-the-line cars. So these things aren't cheap, but they're built for performance and to take a lot of stress, and they use them for quite a few years. And again, they weigh 50,000 pounds, and you know from physics that kinetic energy is 1/2 mass times velocity squared, meaning usually to get more force say in a projectile, you'd focus on increasing the speed of that projectile. But inside the city, we've got speed restrictions of 25, 30 miles an hour. Snowplows can't go 100 miles an hour down the street. So you want to have something that's big, heavy, and massive and able to push that snow up onto the boulevards. Yeah, the other thing is city ordinances saying, hey, we don't want you parking your trailers, your cars, your trucks alongside the street during a snow emergency, because it might get plowed, might get hit. And yeah, so the thing is, taking a look kind of from this angle, snowplow coming along, and he sees this covered in snow, maybe sticking up out of the ground a little bit. The pole could have blown snow stuck to it. You're not going to see it. Plus, it's not going to do any good to just avoid, plowing the street right in front of the fire hydrant either, because that area needs to be cleared, especially on intersections, because that's where most of the snow is going to pile up, especially if the other plow had come down and did the cross street first. And then you got a berm sitting there that has to get plowed and hopefully up on the boulevard. So anyway, you got a snowplow coming along, pushing snow, going 30 miles an hour, the weight of 15 cars. Boom, you're gonna have a big wave of snow coming. It's gonna cover that hydrant up pretty good, but there's really no way to avoid doing that. The snow has to go somewhere, right? So the option is to dig them out later. Usually the city will do it. Sometimes they can be understaffed or overstressed in the case of a really bad snowstorm, and they will ask people in the community to go ahead and dig those out. So right now, let's just take a look at some snow left by a plow that we had hired during the winter to plow off the private driveway. Usually this is how people clear the berms out in front of their driveway. They hire someone, or if you own a snowblower, then you do that. So the question, well, why do you bury a fire hydrant, is the same question of why do you bury my darn driveway after I get done cleaning it? Well, the snow has to go somewhere, and if it's not in your driveway, it's out in the street, and chances are it's already covered in a lot of snow. So we just kind of have to bite the bullet and deal with it up here. Anyway, it's about April 7th, and you can see that the snow has melted down pretty good, but we still have snow. I think around April 1st we had some snow up here. My hometown is just a little less than 47 degrees north. The Canadian border sits 49 degrees north. There's about 69 miles per degree, so now we're roughly a little bit more than 140, maybe somewhere around 150 some odd miles south of the Canadian border. So that should give you a little bit of perspective too. The general rule is the further north you go, the more snow you get, but that's not always true because of oceans. If you look at Norway, the coast of Norway, for example, doesn't have a whole lot of snow because it's close to the ocean. You go inland, there's more snow, and that's because what's called the continental climate takes over. That's what we have out in North Dakota and Minnesota and up into Canada. There's no warm ocean to warm up that air. It comes right on down from Canada. If it's cold in the Arctic, it's going to be cold when it hits us, and there's no mitigating ocean there. We also get extreme heat in the summer. It can get up to 100+ degrees in the summer, and in the winter down to -32 or lower even. It really all depends on the winter and that. So I hope that explained why fire hydrants get covered, how, you know, I haven't been able to figure out a better answer to it, except maybe moving to Florida. Yeah, some people do that when they retire. But if you can come up with any better solutions, or you think something I said in this video is not accurate, just mention that in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in, and I hope this answered your questions. All right, take care. Bye.